Yeah, the definition of a landfall from the National Hurricane Center is when the center of that eye moves over land. Long before that, we're going to see the rain bands, that damaging core of Hurricane Ian, move on shore. It's going to be hours long before we get that damaging core inland and eventually out of Southwest Florida. That camera we just saw on Fort Myers Beach there sits on top of the Pierside Grill just behind the Dairy Queen when you're walking up there to Fort Myers Beach beyond Times Square and you're looking out over the pier. Roughly you're looking off to the west-northwest just to kind of give you a vantage point. That's why when those winds come across the camera like that, they're moving from south to north as the winds are whipping around Hurricane Ian. Right now that core is sitting offshore. And to kind of address Amy's question and the timing, we'll take you in a little closer here and just show you how close this storm is to making landfall somewhere here in Southwest Florida. We've got the capability here with our Doppler radar, the onset of the damaging hurricane core from Sanibel about 20 miles away. If it continues to move in a north-northeasterly fashion, you're looking at more of about a 30 to 35 mile fashion. And as far as the edge here, which will be the eastern periphery, it's more of about a 40-mile distance to get up to the coastline of Estero Boulevard, Fort Myers Beach, and southbound. So with the storm moving northeast at 10, you do the basic math, and we're looking at about 3 to 4 hours. So right now, 9:07, you got 10, 11, 12, 1. It's between noon and 2. We'll start to see those hurricane force winds moving on shore. Then we get inside of the eye, the calm of the storm. You hear a lot of stories about people being able to go outside and hurricanes, look up and see blue skies. This is a very large eye of Hurricane Ian as it moves on shore, and that will happen for folks in Southwest Florida. But then on the backside, we get additional rough weather because we have two sides of the eye wall to go through, and you can see that eye wall right here. Perhaps some of the strongest showers and thunderstorms are on the south and southwestern side of Hurricane Ian as it gets a little closer to the coastline. We've still got this tornado watch box in place. This goes until 5 o'clock. We've been pretty fortunate here for a majority of the morning. We've only had 1 or 2 tornado warnings here for parts of Hendry County over the rural sections of Southwest Florida. Now, one of the more formidable rain bands we've been watching all morning long is finally starting to pull away from I-75 and Tamiami Trail. For hours, it was coming down and coming down in a hurry, and we had tropical storm force gusts there, some of those being reported over 60 miles per hour. And you can see that band, again, it was sitting there between Marco, Bonita Springs, and Estero, and that progression off towards the east shows the fact that the storm is getting closer and closer to the coastline. And now we're looking at areas such as Lehigh Acres and Gateway, also Everglades City, there to the south along Tamiami Trail. Some very intense rain bands are beginning to move there towards I-75 between State Road 29. These will cross right over the Panther Preserve. And as we move on off over to the north, I want to show you some of these areas now that are newly getting into some of the stronger parts of the rain band. This is areas along 82. This is just into the county line with Lee. And as we slide the radar northbound, you can see Miramar Lakes. We're now moving north of RSW. And right there, you can see Gateway getting ready to pick up some pretty good downpours. This will continue to move up towards Buckingham, crossing the Caloosahatchee, and just south there at Babcock Ranch before it whips back around near the Civic Center there at Bayshore and 31. So we're going to continue to update you here on the radar throughout the hour. That new update should be into the computers. And before I toss it back to you guys, I just want to check the winds and the position. Not expecting any huge changes here. We're letting the graphics load, 155 miles per hour still. So again, I'm going to hand things over to Laura.